A very good evening to you. You're live here on GHOne TV. It's 6:30. Time for news tonight with me, Natalie, for to look at our top stories. 5 dead in Nkwanta, 2 in Kraboa, attacks in Bawku and attempted lynching. Tonight we will focus on widespread incidents of deadly violence across the country as residents live in fear. Also ahead, Ablekuma North still without parliamentary representation after 7th recollation attempt failed due to violence. Also in the bulletin tonight, a clash of faith and duty as Muslims debate whether newly appointed acting NLA boss should accept appointment. And on the international front this evening, more than 100 people killed in Gaza since ceasefire was agreed. We've got the details of these stories and much more news here on News Tonight Tuesday. Watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV. All across the world, you can watch this bulletin on Facebook and X at GHOne TV. Let's get started this evening as the police has deployed reinforcement teams to Nkwanta in the OT region after communal related disturbances led to the death of 5 persons and injuring 8 others. In a statement, the police indicated that the IGP had spoken to the 3 chiefs in the area and appealed to them to assist security agencies in maintaining law and order. Well, let's stay on this as my colleague Emmanuel Ejabing joins me in studio with more on what this statement details. Emmanuel, it's good to have you in studio. Very concerning developments, really. What more do you have to share?
From the statement that we are receiving from the Ghana Police Service, they had to rely on the military to provide some security briefing and then ensure that there is law and order restored at Nkwanta and the OT region. Now, the statement, which is signed by Grace Ansah Kropi, who is the Director for Public Affairs at the Ghana Police Service, does indicate that the 5 persons who are dead have indeed, their bodies have been deposited at the morgue. The 5 who are injured as well are also receiving treatment, and they are hoping that these persons would be treated fairly well and they will get their health back restored. But as well, the statement that we have just received from the Ghana Police Service also indicates that the OT Regional Police Commander, he is in the area engaging the chiefs, opinion leaders and community members as part of their peace building activities. What we also take from the statement is the fact that the Inspector General of Police, Dr. Ekufu Dampare, George, he has called 3 chiefs in the area, telling them that they need to work together and ensure that there is peace in that particular area. The Ghana Police Service is assuring the public, particularly the people in Nkwanta and its environs, that they and the military will continue to work together to ensure peace and security are maintained in the community. So that's the latest information we are getting from the Ghana Police Service with respect to Nkwanta and the OT region, Natalie.
Right, Emmanuel, thank you so much for that update. You say that the military is involved now as well.
The military is involved, yes. So the Ghana Police Service and the military are working together to ensure that peace, now they are saying calm has been restored, but they're ensuring that peace continues to last in that community and its environment. So they are working together with the military for that to happen.
Very well. Emmanuel Ejabing, thank you for sharing the details from that statement. Now, we've also got our OT regional correspondent, Irabna Cynthia, who is going to be sharing further details with us. Irabna, good evening. It's good to have you. Now, you earlier indicated that there were some gunshots that were heard, that is, in that community within the later parts or hours of the day. What's the situation as it stands?
Good evening. I start from around 4:30 to now. There have been gunshots around the Tiobodom in Nkwanta South here. But the military has arrived to make sure that everything is going to be in order. Peace of Nkwanta is going to be restored very soon.
Right. Now, we just had Emmanuel, our colleague, read out the statement, and the police statement appears to be silent on what exactly triggered this latest violence. What more do we know as it pertains to what led to it?
For now, it has not been known to all of us yet.
No information has been shared from anyone you've engaged with?
No, please.
Now, generally, what more can you share as per residents in the community and what reactions are to developments there?
Now, everybody is running out of the community to look for their own safety because they know the police, the security are doing their best. But for them, they have to also try to leave so that their safety will be more safe than to rely only on the security services.
Very well. Irabina, thank you for the updates. We'll certainly re-engage subsequently as the situation develops. Irabina, Cynthia joining us there. You're watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV. More of that issue subsequently. In other news this evening, Berima or Kekre Besi Asiedu II, chief of Kota in the Ayenswano district, has been destooled by Osa Berima Oko J. Aman, Apiaje Ofori V, chief of Achim Chebi Apapam, and Amanto Mien Sahene of Achim Ebuakwa. The decision follows a violent clash on Thursday evening between residents of Kraboa, the farming community, and land guards protecting illegal sand winners. Now, the clash left 2 people dead while several others sustained gunshot injuries. 4 of the injured are currently receiving treatments at the Eastern Regional Hospital in Koforidia, and this destillment sparked spontaneous jubilation in Kota. We understand that residents were flooding the streets in celebration with singing and dancing. Many accused the chief of complicity in the illegal sand winning operations, alleging that he engaged land guards to terrorize farmers and seize their lands. Eyewitnesses recounted that the violence erupted when residents, predominantly peasant farmers, blocked a road to prevent sand winners from transporting sand. Armed land guards accompanying the miners attacked the protesters with gunfire, prompting the residents to retaliate. Residents are calling for urgent government action to restore peace, protect farmlands, and end the destruction caused by the sand winning operations. Eastern Regional Correspondent Kojo Ansah reports on the clash that resulted in the destillment.
While 2 people, including a resident and a land guard, have reportedly died following a violent clash Thursday. Kraboa, a farming community in Ayenswano district in the eastern region here. The incident occurred after residents, predominantly peasant farmers, blocked a road to prevent sand winners accused of destroying their farms from transporting sand to Accra and its environs. According to eyewitnesses, the residents' protest escalated when land guards protecting the sand winners attacked them with gunfire.
The Langas fee, Kotoku, and Accra, and some not one begua, no Kitatio, no Abba, yeah, Yatika, man, no Mamma, and Quia. It's in Rano, as some see, nay, and say, as soon as Anka, Sanaka, away. What the Christmas, Imcrophone or Hinaka, what Kitatio, and what to do, I say. As I say, young youth now, I could be Antino. I'm a fire, say, I'm a fire. It's your life too, I say. One Kuyan, I was sacrifice your life. Now, I say, Kraboa, I'm a Kuyan,
the residents retaliated, leading to multiple casualties. 1 person was shot dead. One of the land guards was also found unconscious after being hit. He's alleged to have died. 4 victims with gunshot injuries currently at the Eastern Regional Hospital in Koforidia. Kati is one of the victims discharged this morning.
And I walk on Quano Solo, Langard Roma 1 issue 3. And after the end was started to police commander from Hanum, Katanisi, offered to under fem, number 2 and 2 fem, and of the 2 fem, and of Bubu Nipa night with the Messana Tulukain, and Nipa 4, Wobukophobia and Zambia, Cecilia, Nipa 4 needed 1 9 year about the Kanisha, Nipa 4 needed 1 9 year, and a boy back to what up components now on Usudra. on no se woda kompo nu into ja ofipo nu hosan ye sikwem ehu an se we langard no asutu no ne mfi hanu se e ma oda fam.
GHOne district has been plagued with illegal sand winning activities, often resulting in violent clashes between farmers and sand winners. Armed land guards reportedly accompanied these operators, terrorizing residents and destroying farmlands.
It's affecting the farmers. They have gone to spoil their crops. Those who went and even take loans, all of them, their crops have spoiled. Some of them are my customers here. You understand? And this is a farming area, so it means they farm and sell the product before they eat. Everything is spoiled. They burn their farms, they go into it. Since 3 days ago, they were destroying all the trees. So when the people go there, then the land guards themselves will fight them.
This latest incident has heightened tensions in the community this morning, with residents calling for urgent government intervention to address the illegal sand winning menace and ensure their safety.
And a quota commander, Yakoropota, that's a woman. In a Sraban say, Sabaya can any other cane. No, get the say, that's who you know, Yanadia. What could be any Baba Conede? Okay, say, yes, you have to the smoke or twilight. Amano.
No one tells you as I see. I'm to Shania, 1 by 11, 12, 1 o'clock. Yakoya, guess you a police station. Tell me what you so much to me, the police station.
Reporting live from Kraboa in GHOne district, could you answer? Eastern region.
Let's stay on issues related to security and violence, as 2 people have escaped a mob lynching attempt and are in critical condition after they were caught with the body of a 10-year-old. According to information gathered by GHOne News' Yao Boajan, the suspect allegedly exhumed the 3-day-old buried body of the 10-year-old at a cemetery in Edu Ukwa, near the Ewutu Bojiase in Ewutu Senya West District. They were intercepted by some Okada drivers at Ashalaja around 1 a.m. midnight, Wednesday, January 15, 2025, upon a tip-off, leading to them being assaulted by the angry mob. The intervention of the Denshra police prevented the 2 from being killed. The suspects, who are in the custody of the Ewutu Bojiase Police Command, have been sent to the Bojiase Polyclinic for treatment as a result of the severity of their injuries. Still keeping an eye on security matters, as barely 4 days after President Mahama's visit to Bawku, unidentified gunmen have attacked a military escort vehicle traveling from Kulungu to Bawku in the Upper East region. Although no casualties have been recorded, the latest development has sparked concerns about bringing lasting peace to the area, especially since the president has prioritized resolving the conflict and creating lasting peace within that area. Now, Upper East regional correspondent Idrisu Kasim joins now via Zoom for an update on developments within Bawku following this incident. Kasim, good evening to you. Now, first of all, tell us what's the latest that you have on this issue and how the residents coping following this development. Did you hear me? I'm asking what the latest is that you can share with us currently. Well, we're working the Zoom line there to reach our correspondent, Kasim, joining us from the Upper East region, sharing details as it pertains to security-related issues in Bawku. And you will recall that President John Dramani Mahama did visit the community and has assured of his administration dealing with these prolonged security and chieftaincy and related issues within Bawku. Now, Idrisu Kasim joins us now. Idrisu, I believe you're hearing me. First of all, what's the latest you can share on this development?
Good evening. And latest that we can share to our viewers is that as it stands now, we have not heard anything bad this evening. Since yesterday, after that gunshots and an attack on the military escort, this morning where I'm trying to see whether there are things or measures put in place to make sure this attack will not happen again. We made follow-up to certain areas. We spoke to some leaders, and the results is that things have been put in place. And the good news is that we've cited a document which is about the cyber security. You know, this Bawku conflict is all about those social media users. These social media users are the people escalating this conflict each day. You know, they go on social media and say all sort of words using faceless accounts and thinking that people cannot get them. So when you come to Bawku now, indoors, I'm always in. But before I came in, the information on grounds was that measures have been put in place to track out these people, those who are using these faceless accounts, insulting people, escalating this conflict. Measures have been put in place to fish them out. So there are fears in town on those who normally do these things to inform their colleagues, their brothers, their sisters, whoever you know that he's behind these things, to desist from that before any action
is taken. You're talking there about the information put across on social media sort of worsening the conflict and the issues of security there. But you'll say, generally, from your engagement with residents, what have they been saying following this incident?
All right. So off camera, what they have been saying, some of them, particularly from the Kusasi side, according to them, they said they are not against the escort, the military escort. But what they are expecting is that they want Seju Abagre out of Bawku town. Either he's been arrested or they should take him out from the town for them to know that there's no two kings in Bawku township. And besides that, the escort, they are also demanding another escort, like the escort from Bolga to Bawku township in and out. They want the same on the Bolga highway, Bolga Tamale highway, so that people traveling from Bolga to Tamale, Bolga to Kumasi, Kumasi to Bolga can also move safely without any being attacked on the way. So these are some of the issues they've raised, that if the government can put these into use, it will help to bring calm or return peace into Bawku.
Very well. Kasim Idrisu, great touching base with you. Thank you for sharing developments there following this particular incident in Bawku in the Upper East region. Meanwhile, security analyst and executive director of the West African Center for Counter-Extremism, Mukhtar Mumuni Mukhtar, has emphasized that guns are at the heart of the ongoing conflict in Bawku. Speaking on GHOne Newsroom, he noted that the various gun-related violence happening is as a result of the widespread circulation of guns across the country. And to address this issue, Mukhtar called on security agencies to develop a comprehensive strategy that is aimed at retrieving all illegal weapons in Bawku to minimize the impact of firearms in the ongoing clashes.
You know, guns in circulation in the area. And I think that it's about time we map out a very, very strong strategy to be able to ensure that we retrieve all weapons within Bawku to ensure that we minimize the incidences of the use of guns in the conflict. I do not believe that Bawku is too big a place to outweigh the capacity of the security actors to retrieve weapons in Bawku. We need to ensure that we're gaining the capacity of the security actors to retrieve all weapons in Bawku and ensure the incidences of the use of guns in the violence. And it's about time we did that.
Watching news tonight here on GHOne TV. Well, clearly very concerning security and violence related issues across the country, which we'll be continuing to probe further and get some more insight on it right here on News Tonight. Let's turn to some other issues this evening. Remember that you can watch this bulletin live online at GHOne TV on Facebook as well as on X. Now, let's turn to some other news now. Within his first 10 days as President, John Dramani Mahama has received 2 member nations of the Association of Sahel States. That's the President of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré, made an entry to Ghana during the investiture of President Mahama to offer felicitations. Now, Malian Prime Minister Abdoulaye Maiga is also in Ghana to establish bilateral relations. These 2 countries, along with Niger, have been in the news for their decision to exit the Economic Community of West African States following military rule. Now, how can this camaraderie shown between these leaders be used to advance regional relations? We'll be probing that shortly right here on News Tonight. But before we do so, let's return to the security-related issues and incidents that we've taken note of across the country recently. We were speaking with Adam Bonar, security experts, joining us on this issue. Now, you've heard of these developments. We just touched on them. What do you make of it, really? Do you find it concerning, particularly given the few days into this new administration? What do you observe, and what's the potential threat of these incidents?
Well, good evening, and good evening to your viewers. I don't find it too surprising. Usually this occurs. If you go back and check the database, anytime we have one party winning an election, you would have a bit of disquiet before things stabilize. And the reason is that you usually would have some persons who feel that they've been suppressed for some time, and therefore once their party is in power, they can now exert their pound of flesh. And so what we are seeing is not so different. But it could have been better. I say it could have been better. I say that because if you look at what happened at Ayenswano, at the round of chaos and violence we are seeing in Bawku, what is happening in Nkwanta South, and the list is unending. It's something that I think we should have seen coming. We haven't been able to tackle them, if you ask me, because then the needed resource from the previous administration into dealing with conflict was not not the best. The NCC is not capacitated to go and use other methodologies in terms of peace, and then conflict resolution methods in dealing with some, advocating and training people with regards to these things. They haven't been able to do that. The Peace Council, I think I spoke to your network, your sister network, and other networks this evening. The Peace Council doesn't have, the power to subpoena people to come to a round table. They don't have the power to do anything. They are just an advisory body. And even with that, they also don't have capacity. If you go into how much resource in terms of budgetary allocation that went into the Peace Council, very, very minimal. And so these things are they don't go away just like that because we have a new government. It would take a lot of effort in ensuring that we are able to bring it down to the barest minimum. And I have advocated for local conflict resolution methods in dealing with conflicts in various localities. But what we have done, if you ask me, is to use a more nationalistic approach, a one-size-fits-all approach in dealing with conflicts in this country. The conflict in Dagbon, many years ago, is different from the conflict in Bawku. The conflict in Bawku is different from what is happening in Nkwanta South, and what we are seeing at GHOne and the rest. But what we do is to use a lazy man approach in dealing with conflict. Just get the MC or DCE to get to ask for a warrant for a curfew, and then when everything simmers down, we pull the police officers and the military officers, and then the round of violence starts again. So for me, we haven't done that much.
Well, thank you, as always, for your time and insight this evening. Joining us on that issue, Adam Puna is a security expert. And we've also got the National Peace Council having released a statement on security-related issues, specifically calling for calm in Nkwanta. I'm going to read out a few key sections of this statement, dated January 17, 2025. It says, the National Peace Council has learned with great concern the renewed ethnic clashes and violence in the Nkwanta South municipality from Wednesday, January 15, which has led to the shooting of 7 people and the death of 5 precious Ghanaian lives, and the council condemns it. While condoling with the bereaved families of the 5 deceased, the National Peace Council is convinced that the apparent killings of innocent people, particularly defenseless women, is not serving the majority interest of the municipality. The statement goes on to say that the NPC calls on the majority peace-loving people in the Nkwanta South municipality to shun and expose the groups and few bloodthirsty individuals who are bent on normalizing violence in that community. It rounds up by entreating residents in the municipality to be mindful of their movements and be safe, addressing this situation. And the statement concludes by stating that the National Peace Council calls on the traditional authorities of Adele, Chala, Ayode, and other tribes in the area to disarm their men and restrain them from further attacks. That's coming in from the National Peace Council calling for calm in Nkwanta. Now let's turn to some other news this evening. Within his first 10 days as President, John Dramani Mahama has received 2 leading members from other African countries. Specifically, during his investiture recently, the president was visited by Ibrahim Traoré, that's the president of Burkina Faso, and currently the Malian leader Abdoulaye Maïga is also in the country to help establish bilateral relations. Now we have been joined by Dr. Vladimir Intridanso, Professor Vladimir Intridanso, on what these visits signal. Good evening, and it's very good to have you join us here on News Tonight. Now, from where you sit, what's your assessment of these visits? What would you say that the likely impact of them is?
Good evening to you personally and to your viewers as well. Good signals, I believe. You know, our relationship with Burkina Faso has not been...
Prof, if you can just hold your thoughts briefly. It looks like your camera is tilted upward a bit too much. If you could bring it down slightly so we could properly see you, and then you can carry on. Please do bring it down some more. Okay, Prof. Perfect. Carry on. Thank you.
Good evening once again to you and your viewers. Good signals, because as far as I know, getting to the end of Nana Addo's presidency, our relationship with Burkina Faso had not been very positive because of some assurances, and delegations had gone from Ghana to Burkina to mend the fences. And so Traoré's presence in Accra, the investiture, is a signal that things have died down and we need to get those things already under the bridges so that they wash away. And for me, it's a good sign. It's a good sign also that Mali is here. People have been asking me why we are inviting countries that have left the ECOWAS. Ghana is not ECOWAS. Ghana is a sovereign country, and one of the basic principles of our foreign policy is good neighborliness. That is, every country in this world is our neighbor. And if that is the case, then we don't choose their leadership for them. We don't choose the type of system they have to run. What we need is to be a good neighbor of all countries. And we need them. Perhaps the signals are also that through the new president, there is the possibility of getting these countries back into the fold of ECOWAS. Who knows? So for me, good neighborliness is a very good thing. And whether we like it or not, we have dealings with them. Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali. Women go all the way from here to Niger to bring goods, and they take goods from here. And also, Malian goods are always on our market. Malian women are here, Ghanaian women are in Mali. And so I believe that these are good signs of our very good relationship with these countries.
Right. Now, yes, as you rightly mentioned, President Mahama, even during the investiture, did in his speech touch a lot on unifying language, which was used as it pertains to the sub-region as a whole. You briefly touched on the fact that these visits can likely be a signal of these states re-entering ECOWAS. Do you see that happening? With more certainty, do you foresee that happening?
I can foresee that happening depending on the trajectory we take. If Ghana toes the line of the hardline ECOWAS stand on these three countries, I doubt if these countries will come back because they are thinking about their collective security. And when you have the complexes of regional security, then you begin to take action as your interests would dictate. The three countries decided that they are mostly affected by terrorism, and ECOWAS is not helping in any way. So they took their security into their own hands, and they have formed their own association. I strongly suspect that what we need is to understand them and bring them back one way or the other through a collective kind of assessment of whatever it is that made them go away. Other than that, 70% of the land mass of ECOWAS is what is gone. And they have cause, they are motivated more than ECOWAS is motivated to be together. It's a question of security. And when you talk of security, it's the most prime. It is the primary source of togetherness. And that is what led them to go away in the first place. So it depends on what trajectory we take. If we begin to play or we pander to the whims and caprices of the West, then they would have the motivation to remain where they are. But if we let them know that we are interdependent, and Ghana specifically, look, our relationship with Burkina Faso is very, very important because if Burkina Faso hates Ghana, they can just weaponize. I was talking to one of my security friends, a brigadier general, and we were saying, look, if Burkina Faso hates us, they need about 5 to 10 forming a small gang of terrorists just to start something in Ghana. They can weaponize terrorism and worry Ghana. So our relationship with them is very, very important. We need to. There's no way we can avoid any relationship with any of these countries.
Very well. Key points made there. Thank you, as always, for your time this evening. Professor Vladimir Intridanso joining us on that issue. You're watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV. In other news, residents of Ablekuma North still do not have a member of parliament. The 7th recollation exercise to finalize the protracted process was disrupted again when chaos erupted at the Electoral Commission's office in the Greater Accra region. Supporters of the NDC and MPP clashed and damaged several louver blades at the EC office, forcing the commission to halt the process. Tensions flared as NDC protesters accused the EC of attempting to carry out a dubious exercise to declare the MPP candidate as the winner. The Electoral Commission is now deliberating as to whether to proceed with the recollation amid the growing unrest. Obed King Gaglo reports.
Several louver blades at the Coalition Center of the Greater Accra Regional Office of the Electoral Commission shattered, doors destroyed. What may have been the cause?
Yesterday we were called by the Municipal Director of EC to be here as early as 8 a.m. because they want to finish this thing once and for all. So the directive was that we only bring 2 agents to the room. We were here at 8 o'clock. We went into the room. To our surprise, we saw the MPP with over 20 people in there. So we asked ourselves, is it a setup from the EC? Because you gave us a clear directive that this time you are only allowing 2 people. So we also have to withdraw because they were intimidating us inside. So we withdrew and we came back. So we also mobilized our people. So our people also came before we also moved in. So what you saw in there was a clash between the NDC and the MPP. But we thought this is a setup from the EC, because how can you direct us to bring 2 people and allow MPP to enter the room with over 20 people in there?
The chaotic scene forced the Electoral Commission to call off the collation, which was set to cover the results from 3 remaining polling stations to declare the winner for the parliamentary contest for the Ablekuma North constituency. Supporters of the NDC in the Ablekuma North constituency insist their candidate, Irabna Obeng, is the winner for the parliamentary contest.
Declaration or gazette should be done. It should be as soon as possible. It shouldn't take this long. EC is not saying anything. EC is not telling anyone anything. They are only in bed with EQFA. This is what they know how to do.
If anytime they win us, we leave it to them. But this time around, we Ablekuma North people, we voted massively for Honorable Irabna Obi because we are tired of them. For the past 1996, they are not doing anything. If you get to Ablekuma North, all over the places are dirty. We need somebody to come and save us from those dirtiness. So we voted for Honorable Irabna Obi, and she has been declared as an MP of Ablekuma North.
The process, which has been plagued by delays and disagreements, encountered its most recent setback on January 8, 2025, when the returning officer, Vincent Obeng, resigned following disputes over the authentication of pin sheets.
It's so unfortunate for me to make this statement that I'm done with Ablekuma North. They should find a new returning officer to continue their work for them. Thank you.
However, disagreements regarding the verification of results from 3 polling stations caused the process to be suspended for the 6th time. The Ablekuma North constituency, with a total of 281 polling stations, has verified results from 278 polling stations. The outstanding 3 polling stations have become points of contention between the National Democratic Congress and the New Patriotic Party. For now, the Ablekuma North constituency has no member of parliament.
Until such a time that Irabna Obeng is declared as winner of the parliamentary contest in Ablekuma North constituency, they are never going to accept it. From the regional office of the Electoral Commission here in Ridge, Obed Kingaglo.
Meanwhile, the EC has appealed for enhanced security to ensure smooth completion of this recollation process for the Ablekuma North constituency. The appeal follows the destruction of property, as you just saw on your screen. Now, according to the Electoral Commission, the party supporters issued threats to the commission and its staff, causing its staff members to flee because the environment had become unsafe. The EC wants government to engage the Ghana Police Service to ensure that the commission is provided with the adequate security to enable it carry out its functions. The EC further laments the threats to lives and property, saying it's unacceptable and should not be allowed to continue. It added that it is working around the clock to ensure that the people of Ablekuma North have a member of parliament. You're watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV, and that's the statement that you see on the screens currently. The EC is calling for security, calling on the government to engage the police service and ensure that the commission is provided with the adequate security. As you saw, it's a 7th attempt within this constituency. So the EC is calling for needed measures to ensure that there is needed security for the exercise. And it says it's working consistently round the clock, ensuring that the people of Ablekuma North soon have their member of parliament. It also calls for the cooperation of the police to enable the commission achieve this. So that's the EC with that statement calling for security to be provided to it. as it carries out this exercise. You're watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV. Do stay with us. We bring you business news shortly. You're welcome back to News Tonight here on GHOne TV. We bring you business news next. In business tonight, to enhance revenue collection and promote accountability and transparency, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly has launched a digital platform to streamline tax payments. The platform enables business operators, property owners, and traders to pay taxes with ease, eliminating challenges in the process. The head of budget and rating at the AMA, Noble Achu Ahaji, highlighted the significance of this initiative.
We realized that the manual way of doing things was not helping because there are a lot of issues with the receipt. People have all kinds of receipt that they issue when monies are collected. So we all thought it wise that it would be good for us to digitize our process so that will bring convenience to the ratepayers. We started with Ase Duketeke and it was highly successful. We reckoned a lot and we wanted to replicate that in the two other sub-metros so that at the end, the ratepayers will have that convenience to do their payment online, print their receipt, and that will bring transparency and accountability. And if they have any issue, we address it for them promptly so that at the end of the day, we can improve our revenue collection. They can also be certified with our services. You can do online monitoring. Real time, you are seeing what you have paid, and you print your receipt and receive any notification in terms of certificate or editing after payment.
Well, next we bring you sports news.
Now, welcome on to sports, where Comp Director for the GFA, Henry Asantichum, has confirmed that changes will be made to the Black Stars backroom staff. Speaking exclusively on GHOne TV's The Game Sporting Show, Chum confirmed that there will be changes made to the Black Stars roster, but refused to call out names to be changed.
At the last ESCO meeting, they looked of all the people that constitute the technical team, including myself, and what we have contributed to the team within the last 7-8 months. So from the head coach to assistant coaches, their respective roles, to the goalkeepers, trainer, physiotherapists, physical trainers, the medical team led by Dr. Pambo, and all the other service providers, team manager, kids officer, security officer, and all of that. And I think once the problems are identified, it's part of the solution. So what I know is that there will be changes. I can't put names to those changes. I know that when the Executive Council has firmed things up in terms of personnel who are going out and incomings, we will make an official announcement to that effect. But as things stand, nobody has been relieved of his position or his post as it is being reported.
And that is Henry. He further revealed that even though there will be changes to the backroom staff, Coach Otto Addo will remain as the head coach of the Black Stars team.
As things stand, he's still the coach of the team. I think that when you sign a contract with a coach until it is abrogated or an official agreement is reached with him and his backroom staff, whether they are staying or not, they will continue to do their job. He was here during the festive period. He's gone back to Germany to continue his work, his scouting and his monitoring. And until something dramatic happens, he remains the coach of the team. I haven't been informed that he's been sacked. I haven't been informed that he's going to lose his job. So he remains the coach of the team.
He speaks for the GFA and also the Black Stars. Don't forget, talking about the Black Stars, tonight at 9:30 p.m., Black Stars attacker Joseph Pencil will be our guest. A special one-on-one exclusive with Joseph Pencil on GHOne TV at 9:30 p.m. tonight with my colleague Monica Bukari. That should be it for our sports. That's it. My name is Benjamin Yamwa.
You're watching news tonight. In some more news this evening, using the Takrade Agona Nkwanta Highway in the western region is increasingly becoming a nightmare to commuters. The terrible nature of the road has turned 1-hour journeys into 3-hour journeys, frustrating road users. Residents say plying that route leaves them drained and angry. Although the 23-kilometer stretch is currently under construction, traffic management has been very poor.
Construction on the road began in March 2024 and is expected to last for 36 months. Since the start of the project, daily traffic bottlenecks have become a common sight. Drivers and commuters are expressing frustration over extended travel times and are calling on the contractor to implement better traffic management solutions to ease their daily commute.
Traffic and how you do that. Kwan no more. The kwan so do more ya ga for ya na se nya bo se no mu na de. Mutimi ya le kama mai. Because that ya je. You do traffic ma ba 6 hours. Yeah, some go go. Mun ko se from you can for na mun je wa about 10 to 3 days ago. Stay traffic. Mesela mo from you. Break no. Wa muana kakra. Nti obanda ma kasa kese na wala ba. Wontum wo yede no wambantika kese na kese hia na go so na aba ho. Nti obanda ma mu na kasa ni na wontum wonko. Nti ebitumi na to biawo oba town. Ebitumi na to town to biawo. Nti mala meti apo because of go so nti mafi apo ma ba head dan wo adentem. Ti apo akwa na de wan hwe wan ye ho bibia ma he na
Stephen Ankama, Technical Officer of the National Road Safety Authority at EKMA, has suggested several measures that could help improve traffic flow during the construction period.
It has been very difficult to use that road. Moreover, we are also pleading with the drivers that they should not do any reckless driving by maybe overtaking in such a way that it will be dangerous for other drivers. So all that we are advising is that everything boils down to the contractor, because he knows the duration that he has given and he knows his mandate. So all that we are hoping is that no matter the duration, if the things that are supposed to be in place are being put in place, I think that it will reduce this situation that we are talking about.
Once completed, the Takoradi-Aguna-Nkwanta Road project is expected to significantly enhance transportation efficiency and boost economic activities in the Western region.
The Committee for Public Accountability has condemned the recent attacks on salt mining firm Electrochem. Some irate youth in the Ada enclave stormed the company after swearing in of President John Dramani Mahama and made away with some equipment. Speaking to GHOne News, Executive Chairman for the Committee for Public Accountability, Collins Amankwa, accused Ada MP Comfort Doye Gansa Kujo for attempting to sabotage operations of the company. The former Menchia North MP called on President Mahama to intervene in line with his promise to protect local businesses.
The current president is on record during his inaugural speech inviting investors to invest in Ghana's economy, including promoting Ghanaian businesses. So if we're going to sit down for few people because of their selfish gains, would want to destroy such projects, then I think it's a source of worry. That's why we are calling on the Member of Parliament for the area to back off from such ugly moves. It's not right, and as a committee we roundly condemned such acts. She should not be seen to be sabotaging this project, but she should rather encourage the operators of the company to do more, so that the local people would also be able to live happy.
In other news this evening, the appointment of a practicing Muslim, Mohammed Abdul Salam, as the acting CEO of the National Lottery Authority, NLA, has set tongues wagging, sparking intense debate among Muslims. At the heart of the controversy lies the clash between faith and duty, as Islam firmly prohibits gambling, labeling it as a sin. GHOne News' Zuleyha Nuhu visited Nima, a predominantly Muslim community, and engaged residents on the matter.
The appointment of Mohammed Abdul Salam as the acting CEO of the National Lottery Authority has sparked debate in several communities. As a Sunni Muslim, Abdul Salam's beliefs have become a point of discussion as Islam prohibits gambling.
As far as it's our government who is appointing him. He's just heading the institution. And so we don't have any problem with that.
Islam entirely frowns on anything gambling, betting, and so on. So I don't see it as a point that a Muslim who has a lot of faith will go for such a position.
I don't think the government forced him to accept that position. There's a consultation, and he himself accepted that appointment.
Christians, Muslims, Lotto, so no, I decide or fine
to appoint a Muslim to the National Lottery of Ghana, according to Islamic Sharia, it's not right.
We are cutting Lotto. We have seen Mala. Big Malans, they are cutting Lotto. Lotto is a game, so we there inside. Malon control everything. We there with you.
So you take Lotto, you stake Lotto.
I stake Lotto. See numbers. Oh, you can't see well. Let me make it neat. Numbers. Have you seen?
Yes.
We there inside Lotto. Mala, we there with you. Keep on. GHOne.
Also very interesting reactions to that development. Next, we bring you international news. At least 103 Palestinians have been killed and more than 264 wounded by Israeli attacks in Gaza since the announcement of the recent ceasefire agreement. According to Mahmoud Basal, Gaza's Civil Defense Service spokesperson, the latest casualty figures include 31 women and 27 children. The fatalities came after the Wednesday announcement of a ceasefire agreement scheduled to take effect on Sunday. Basal confirmed that 82 of the total casualties were killed in Gaza's north, while 16 took place in the southern regions, including 14 in Khan Yunis and 2 in Rafah. And that is how we draw the curtains on News Tonight this evening. Do visit our websites at starfm.com.gh for lots more news. Thank you so much for making the time. I'm Natalie Fort, was produced by Bernice Abubedu Lanza. Have a wonderful evening and a restful weekend.